Yeah, so last year, my shy, vulnerable, barely 12-year-old daughter, who had just moved to a new school at the height of COVID protocol, was recruited by her art teacher and her homeroom teacher to attend art club after school. So she texted us. We gave our permission for art club. When she got there, it was actually GSA, or Gender and Sexuality Awareness, or Alliance Club. And the teacher had invited in a completely unqualified outside presenter who did unthinkable things with the children. And I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. She told them, what you hear in here, keep in here. She used flags to describe defining words, telling them that if they're not fully comfortable in their bodies, that means they're transgender. And then she would hand out the flags and stickers and bracelets and other swag. She told them that queer is a label for when they're still figuring out their sexuality. She did the genderbread person, which explicitly asks kids who they're sexually attracted to. So 11, 12, 13-year-olds with peers and adults in the room talking about their sexuality. She handed out her personal contact information and invited them to connect on teen chat platforms like WhatsApp and Discord, where she knows that parents are not monitoring the conversation. And she told them that families might not be safe and it's okay to lie about where they are. And in fact, the art teacher, as my daughter was leaving the room that day, pulled her aside and said, remember, you don't have to tell your mom.
Okay, so what happened? You bring this up. I've seen the emails. What has happened?
So thank God my daughter got in the car and I could see on her face when I picked her up that something was wrong. And so we probed, and we're really fortunate that she told us what happened. We've seen all kinds of horror stories about teachers and presenters like this leading kids down this transgender path, you know, leading them into medical transition. So we're lucky we caught it right when it happened.
Heavens.
Somehow remained calm enough to follow the appropriate channels. I mean, we were livid. We were confused. We didn't even believe this was real at first. So our first step was to contact the woman who gave her personal information to my child. And her response was delusional. It doubled down on everything that she did. So we demanded a sit down with the principal, and he confirmed that this, in fact, happened in secret, that they always hold this meeting in secret, because as a public school, they have to offer children a safe space. So essentially a safe space from their families. We took it to the school board. They ignored my pleas for months. When I finally got a sit down with a board member, it turns out she's best friends with the woman who came into the classroom.
Oh, my gosh.
She volunteers with her organization. This woman has an organization called Skittles for kids 5 to 11 to talk about their sexuality and gender identity. And our school board member volunteers with Skittles. So we realized, and again, those FOIA emails showed that they immediately colluded. When I objected to what happened, they immediately colluded with the school board to keep me quiet. They referenced parents who find out as barriers that the school board has removed. They talked about sending social services into my home because I didn't like what they did with my child.
Right, this is really, this one is so far. I mean, all of it is over the line. But when they actually suggest that maybe we need to do a well check on this child, basically internally saying, is there something that the school district can do to put this parent in their place? Maybe they're being abused. This child's being abused, or maybe because they are transgender, and the parent doesn't want to admit it. So we're going to send in a well check team. That is a direct threat to you.
Absolutely. And my daughter had never expressed gender dysphoria before. She never expressed that she'd had any trouble at home. They never spoke to me. I never spoke to any of the people that did these things before they decided to talk about calling CPS. I think they knew we were at our most vulnerable moment as a family that they caused. And in the state of Colorado, if my child had said to CPS that I wasn't affirming her transgender identity, I firmly believe they would have removed her from the home.
Oh, yeah, they would have.
And the people knew this, right, when they suggested that CPS come to our home to remove our child. And if our child is not under our care, then they have full control of her brain and her heart.
My gosh, Aaron, can you believe you live in the United States of America?